This is Jonathan Agger with Fifth Pro Boxing Fans. It's fight week here in Glasgow. It's another one. Josh Taylor against Jack Catterall for all the belts at Super Lightweight. I'm joined by Adam Smith, Sky Sports Head of Boxing Development. Adam, before we get into this card, an assessment of last week, a manic week, followed by an incredible main event and overall event. What was your assessment of it all?
Jonathan, I don't know about you, but I'm exhausted. It was so long in the making, wasn't it, this fight? And actually to get it over the line, and then with the bumps on fight night with the gloves, and actually sort of seeing the two of them fight when the bell went was it was amazing. The night itself was electric. The build-up was fascinating, and we got a great fight. We got a fantastic performance by Kell Brook, rolling back the years in many ways, and with Amir Khan, who wasn't himself. He wasn't as good as he once was. That was fairly obvious. But what was just astounding was his courage, bucket loads of courage, the heart he showed, the refusal to wilt, the refusal to go down. I mean, just the people that have said, "Oh, Amir Khan's chinny," he's gone down 12 times in his career. I was there in Vegas when he fought Marcus Maidana. He proved to me that night that he's a tough boy. But what he did on Saturday night, when nothing was going right for him, but just to hang in as long as he did, and a perfect stoppage, I thought, by Victor Loughlin, it was actually sort of emotional. And I think that the post-fight press conference afterwards was even more emotional, with the two of them giving so much respect to each other. And it was a really nasty, bitter rivalry. Have no doubt about that. On the ringside set when they came down 10 years ago, we had to keep them apart. There was no love lost between the pair. But to share the spirit that they did in the ring in Manchester was brilliant for boxing. The fact that they hugged each other afterwards, and now they can either go into retirement or they can go on with their lives, and it's finished. But it finished so brilliantly. The fans got a great night. It was a rip-roaring 5.5 rounds as long as it lasted. Kell, as I said, was brilliant. His timing, his control of the ring, his power, and Amir was just beyond courageous. And for me, that was a great night. So exhausted by it. Sure, I'm not as exhausted by the fighters and their teams, but it was a fantastic night for Sky Sports box office. It was great to have our first big event with Boxer. Spent a lot of time with Benn all week. Big week for him, big week for the Boxer company, and I think they look at it. It looked incredible. It looked amazing, and it's a sign of some really positive things to come in our future.
For Amir Khan, he's pretty much hinted at retirement. Obviously no official decision yet, but for Kell Brook there are options. Chris Eubank Jr., Conor, Benn. From a Sky perspective, Chris Eubank Jr. is the most likely. Is that a fight you'd like to see and on Sky?
I think, first of all, retirement is up to them and their families. It's not for anyone else to say they should or shouldn't retire. Sitting next to Amir at the post-fight presser and sort of feeling his words and just getting his sense, I think he may well call it today, but again, it's his choice. If he does, I just want to say that he's given us an absolutely thrilling ride. I've loved working with him and have been privileged enough to commentate on some of his great nights and also some of the nights that didn't work out. He's left everything in the ring and he's been brilliant. And I think he'll have a fantastic future with his family. Very popular guy, so I want to wish Amir all the best. As for Kell's got the angel on one side and the devil on the other. That's what Nigel Benn always used to tell me about, when he had that difficult fight with Gerald McClellan, whether he wanted to fight on or not. Kell could go out now, like Lennox Lewis, like Joe Calzaghe, like Johnny Nelson, like Carl Froch, at the top, or certainly at the top of his summit. That's the fight he wanted, and he won it emphatically. But, of course, because he looked so good, there's the opportunity of fighting on. Love to see him with Conor Benn. Chris Eubank Jr. is a more difficult match. Obviously, Chris is with us or with Wasserman and us, so that's a possibility. But the weight is difficult. So unless Chris is going to, really come down to a catch weight, I think that could be a tricky fight to make. Let's see. I think Kell needs a rest. I think Chris, I'd like to see fight for a world title sooner rather than later, and I think in the middleweight division. I'd love to see him fight Golovkin, but one of the titles, and I think that'll be good. Conor Benn is always a name that's going to come up around these guys, and Ben Eubank's been teased. Maybe that's in a year or two. But yeah, there's some great fights to be made out there. But obviously, there's different promoters, there's different channels, there's problems making those. But let's see what can happen. But Kell Brook's got a big choice on his great choice to make, whether to call it a day and sail off into the sunset. And he was haunted. He was haunted by it. Really haunted by Amir Khan. And it's over. Can he get himself up again as much mentally and physically for anyone else? Anyone else? For a world title, for Chris Eubank, for anyone? Don't know. It's going to be tough. But Kell's going to have to just take a little time off, and we'll see. My feeling is he'll go again, but we'll see, and it's up to him.
Josh Taylor, by most people's view, is the pound-for-pound best in the UK. He's on Sky Sports. Was that an important thing for you with this Top Rank deal? Did you look at someone like Josh Taylor and think this is one of the reasons we want you guys in this partnership?
Todd DeBurf and I have been talking for many years. I've known how much he's wanted to be linked with Sky and on Sky. Every time I see him in America, we talked about it. So there was the opportunity. Eddie went to DAZN and opened things up. Top Rank have signed a 4-year deal, and absolutely right at the top of my list was the fact that Josh Taylor was going to be on Sky. And for me, on Sky Sports against Jack Catterall is really important, because Josh is a phenomenal. He's a brilliant fighter, one of the world's finest, and he needs to fight at 10 o'clock at night on home soil in front of his beloved Scottish fans. It's going to be some night. It's a great matchup against Jack Catterall that Top Rank have put on. The mandatory. Jack has waited for a while. He deserves his chance. Who knows, Jack can't compete on Josh's level, but he is going up and he is going into hostile territory. It's a tough ask for Jack Catterall, but him and Jamie Moore and Nigel Travis and the small team will have every faith that their man can pull this off. For Josh, this is about making a statement. This is about showing us what Sky Sports and everybody has been missing. We've had bits of him. We had him against Regis Prograis. We've had him a little bit earlier in his career. Let's be greedy. I wanted him for his whole career. And now we've got him. I don't want to let him go. I think he's brilliant. I think he's a magician in the ring. I think he's that good. Only 18 professional fights, remember. First undisputed, all the belts. Ring Magazine as well. First time that's happened in the UK. First time it's being defended here. Listen, if he gets past Jack Catterall on Saturday night, we're going to do everything we can to try and make Josh Taylor into a star by utilising our platforms and our skills and our experience. And he's great. He's a great character as well as a great fighter. So let's see, step by step, Saturday first. But I'm delighted to have Josh Taylor back on Sky Sports in a big fight on prime time.
And you had Terence Crawford here in the UK last week. He's already said he wants a UK fight. If Josh was to win this, do you see that within the next, say, 2 fights?
That's the dream, isn't it? We all have dreams. I just thought about it actually as I was watching Josh in the ring earlier. Edinburgh Castle, maybe summer of 2023. Terence Crawford comes back. I think he'll have this fight, maybe another one in the UK, maybe he'll want to go to New York. I think that's a dream of Josh's as well. But then if he moves up to welterweight, I'd like to see the Crawford and Spence fights. If we can get Crawford back, I chatted to Terence last week. He really wants to fight in the UK again. He really enjoyed it when he came over and fought Ricky Burns. He was treated very well. He had a great experience, great memories, and he also obviously was around ringside on Saturday night. He was disappointed. He was with Amir and part of the team, but of course he saw the electricity. He saw the huge event, and he wants a part of that. So I think Terence will come back. Yes, Josh wants to try and become a 2-weight world champion. He's got the skills. If he can keep delivering the performances in the ring, and us and Top Rank and Boxer and everybody help him out of the ring and try and push his profile to becoming a big star, who knows? That could be one of the big fights of the modern era. Can you imagine? Josh Taylor with all the treasure at one weight, Terence Crawford maybe by that point with all the treasure at another weight. You're talking a dream fight. And what a setting Edinburgh Castle would be, eh? Take him back to Edinburgh. Take him back to his home. Ken Buchanan, Jim Watt will come down, Alex Arthur, who he used to watch in the Meadowbank Arena. We bring Terence back as pound for pound king and Josh maybe at number 2. It's fairy tale stuff. But you know what? May not be too far away.
Just finally, Adam, because I know we're pressed for time, we're all waiting to hear about Anthony Joshua's fight with Alexander Usyk. His TV deal and network deal is not yet resolved. When do you think we will have an answer whether he goes to Sky or whether he goes to DAZN or another platform for this rematch?
I've always been very confident that he'll remain with Sky. Yes, our contract ran out just when the Matchroom contract ran out as well. AJ Usyk was the last fight in that deal. Negotiations continue behind the scenes. We're very close to Freddie and 258, and obviously we're working together with Fraser Clark now. So I'm very confident that Anthony will fight on Sky and continue to fight on Sky. It's where he started his professional journey. He's been an amazing ambassador for us. He's brought us huge starry nights, and I think we've been very good for him. So I'd be very surprised, especially at sort of watching some of the shows we've been putting on recently as well, whether he'd want to go anywhere else. I think he loves the Sky family, and we love him. So let's see. As I said, it's still negotiation stage. It's up to him what he wants to do, whether he wants to stay with us or go elsewhere. I'm sure we'll find out sooner rather than later. And let's all look forward to the Alexander Usyk rematch, and with Tyson Fury and Dillian White finally getting over the line. Should have two massive British boxing, fights, or certainly nights. Hopefully, both will be in Britain. And Alexander Usyk is almost like one of us now. We've seen him so much over here. We adore him too. So terrific to have the four of them fighting, and let's see what happens with the winners. And it's exciting times for the heavyweights. I was watching way down in level. Let's be honest here, novice level. Nick Campbell and Jay McFarlane earlier. Again, they're fighting for the Scottish heavyweight title. There are not many heavyweights in Scotland, and it's been 70 odd years since it was last fought for. But you know what? They may only get to English, Scottish, British level, maybe Commonwealth, European, may not get to those heights. But you know what it's doing? The heavyweight division at the top, it's inspiring the young heavyweights to have a go, and that's brilliant to see. The grassroots are being inspired. The female side of the sport, the women's boxing is never been bigger and better. You've got Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano in Madison Square Garden. You should have Savannah Marshall, Clarissa Shields sometime in the summer here. It's brilliant. Ebony Jones on the card here on Saturday night. It's inspiring the youth. It's inspiring the heavyweights, men and women. And it's a fantastic place to be boxing at the moment. Huge amounts of competition. BT, DAZN, Channel 5, obviously loads in America. We keep doing our thing on Sky and delivering what we can for our customers. And, we've been in it a long time, and we'll be in it for a long time to come.
Adam Smith, thanks for talking to Pro Boxing Fans.